Welcome back to ISF. As someone who deals with constant back pain, I know how hindering it can be on your everyday life. And our Inside South Florida correspondent, Miriam Tapia, caught up with an expert to learn more about lumbar spinal stenosis and a minimally invasive procedure that can help your back problems.
Thanks, Jason. I'm with Dr. Peter Pryzbylkowski here inside the Know Your Backstory campaign truck. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later on, but first we're going to talk about lumbar spinal stenosis, who he's an expert at. Can you tell me more about LSS?
Sure. So LSS, it's an acronym. It stands for lumbar spinal stenosis. It's a degenerative condition of the lower back that we get as we age. Typically, you start to experience pain in your back that goes down your legs when you stand and walk for a long time. Gets better when you lie down, gets better when you sit down. And we have a shopping cart here. It actually feels better when you flex forward. So a lot of my patients, I'll ask, do you feel better when you use a shopping cart or a walker? Can you stand and walk longer? And that tunes me into the diagnosis. It's a degenerative condition. It's something we get as we age. And we're here today to let people know there's treatment options that we can do that are minimally invasive to allow people to get out of chronic back pain, stand and walk longer, be more functional.
What are some of those minimal invasive treatments that you just talked about?
Sure, so there's a procedure called the MILD procedure. It stands for minimally invasive lumbar decompression. It's an outpatient same-day procedure. It's an incision we make that's the size of a baby aspirin, and through that tiny incision, we can remove an enlarged ligament in the low back that causes low back and leg pain. And it's a great procedure because it's quick and it gets patients back on their feet within 24, 48 hours, gets them standing and walking longer almost right away.
I love that. And you know, people who start feeling these pains in the lower back usually get really scared. You know, I would get scared. Now, can you tell me a little bit more about myths and some misconceptions that people have about lower back pain?
So some misconceptions about lower back pain. You don't have to live with lower back pain. So there was a recent Harris poll data survey that was done in May of this year. 2,000 adults 18 and older were surveyed. Out of those 2,000, we then extrapolated to some of the US Census data. There's currently, we estimate 72 million Americans living with chronic low back pain.
Wow.
And out of that number, 80% have just accepted chronic low back pain as a way of life. And it's important for the public to know that there are specialists with board certification treating low back and leg pain, and there's minimally invasive treatment options we can do to restore that function. So our message really is you don't have to suffer, you don't have to live with chronic low back pain. You should not accept chronic low back pain as a way of life as you get older.
Yeah, and we want to get people back on their feet, right? So this is why the Know Your Backstory campaign is here. Tell me more about this awesome campaign.
Sure, so this was a campaign that we started up in New York City about 4 weeks ago. We've made our way down the eastern seaboard and we're finishing it up in Miami. And it's a great vehicle we have. So it's going all around the country on the eastern seaboard. And we have some anatomical models here. We have some MRI views that we look at as pain doctors before treating patients with low back pain. We have a shopping cart here just to iterate what causes lumbar spinal stenosis and what are some of the treatment options we do to alleviate pain in the back and the legs.
This is good, even those who don't know about LSS, which is, you know, very informative, obviously with the pictures and the graphs here that you're gonna get to see. Tell me, how can healthcare providers get involved in this? Because I'm sure a lot of people have the questions regarding that.
Great. So, you know, we have a national campaign. The website's knowyourbackstory.com. Through that website, you can find local providers who are board certified in pain management who can provide you with minimally invasive treatment options to alleviate chronic back and leg pain.
I love it. And what's that website again? Because we want to get people here.
Knowyourbackstory.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Peter Pryzbylkowski. And we're going to see you here because we're going to get informed. Oh, yes.